Okay, good evening and welcome back to market session tonight. Thank you for joining. I was last week for us. Last week ended on a positive note, P&L wise. I was yours too. So tonight, let's get started. Please confirm you can see my screen and then you can hear me clearly. Please confirm you can see my screen and hear me clearly in the chat box. Okay, okay. So let's get started. Let's get started. So before we start checking the possible trade for within the setups, let's look at the news lineup for the week. Okay, just a minute. The network is a bit funny of late. Let's just wait for this to. Okay, so Forex Factory is having challenge responding. So we might just go ahead checking setup tonight without news lineup. Check the news lineup before you start each trading day, as I always advise. So let's get the pairs for the day. So let's start with the DXY. Ah, the network is really. Wow. Okay, so let's just continue with Euro USD then, since every other thing seems to be having a time. Okay, so let's go to the daily time frame. So the last few days have been bullish, except for 2 days out of the last, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out of the last 7 days, we've had two bearish days with short candles, and then which means short momentum. And then we have others with huge long candles with good buying pressure. So with that, even though the structure looks more like we should be in a sell, you know, looks more like all of this is to tap into the fair value gap here, only to come down again. But then, until we see a clear, change of character that confirms that, we will still be looking for a buy, because the prevalent movement in the last few days have been bullish. Now, see, it's been bullish. So even though so, and that means we can as well take the retracement, the bearish movement as a retracement, as a repulsive, as a corrective move rather. So what we are looking at, until price give us a total change of character, and then for that to happen, what do we need to see? So let's quickly look at that. So this is H4. If we look at it, this is the most recent high we've seen, and the market created, a low after, then a lower high, then also a higher low. So this is indecision, more like market is trying to build, you know, get into a funnel kind of. But before we start considering that market, before we start contemplating of looking for a sell, we need market to at least break this level conveniently, you know, create a new low, a new low conveniently. So if market creates a new low conveniently and probably give us a lower high as well, we can take a sell from the lower high. So that, but then until then, we are still looking for a buy, because this setup here, both the structural setup, meaning the highs and the low, is still confirming a high, a buy, and also if this is a pennant or a flag, whatever shape it is, in most cases it also normally break to the side, it's always most likely a continuation pattern. So two reasons we are looking for a buy. Structurally, we are still buying, and then looking at the pattern, there are high chances of it breaking it upward and downward, because there are high chances of market to break, and continue the direction that entered into that consolidation. So but then, like I said, if you go on the higher time frame D1, it looks more like market is seeking liquidity for momentum, which we are already around that liquidity area. We are already around that institutional area that we believe market has probably picked up a few things, or may just pick up a little bit more liquidity up and then fall. But before we can take a sell, we will need this to be broken and retested. Even if not retested, we need this one to create a new low and then give us a lower high, and then we can look for a sell from there. Aha, so now that we have Forex Factory is back, so Monday, which is tomorrow, there's not so much for Monday. There's not so much for Monday. Yes, but Tuesday we have odd odd news for 5:30 a.m. and then same thing on Tuesday we have CPI 1:30 p.m. Then Wednesday we have odd 2:30 a.m. We have Thursday we have 2:30 a.m. for odd as well. I think the whole week is for odd, and there's a lot of high impact news for odd the whole week. So if you are a niche trader and you love momentum, you might want to trade odd USD this week, because there's a lot of news for odd this week. So on Thursday we have USD news all day. Wow. And on Friday we have USD 1:30 p.m. and then 3 o'clock. So those are the news lineup we have for the week. Please pay attention to the news. Please pay attention to the news. Make sure you are pre-informed about the news that will be, coming in each of the day before you get into the trade, so that you can manage your trade effectively. So that you can manage your trade effectively. So this is odd USD. I just wanted to check it based on what we've seen, the lineups. There's been a lot of up and down, not like a, imagine what has been ranging in this channel for a long time, for a very long time. Can you just imagine, since January, since January, this has been on. I mean, can you just imagine? So if one does not even know how to trade at all, just getting into this, and every time price come to this channel, you take a buy, you will have made so much money already. Just take a buy, of course, with good money management, because this will have taken out of your account if you are not using stop loss. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, and then every time it touches the upper region, you take a sell, take a sell. Awesome. So if you trade odd, you might want to pay a little bit more attention this week, because you might make good money this week on odd. So that's it. Let's get into DXY. Hopefully it opens. DXY. Okay, so I want to believe that DXY is ready to continue the downward movement. That's what I want to believe, because this happened. But then, before we can be truly sure that is ready to happen, we need to take this out. At least this is the most recent low. So if you're able to take this out, then a change of character is now confirmed, because we can. This is still in the buy region. This is still in the bullish region. We can as well say that this market comes and then retrace from a fib level. You can see it even closed bullish. So market can from here move up. So currently, the what is visible is that dollar is, in the immediate bearish, but then it closed bullish on Friday. So we're gonna wait for what market is gonna do tonight, tomorrow morning. But then the scenarios are clear. If market is going to continue going down, the dollar, then we need to take out to this level. And then if it's going to, if that if that does not happen, then the upward movement will have to continue. So what does that mean? It simply means that if dollar keeps going up, everything against it comes down. So for example, if dollar keeps going up, then we are going to see a downward movement on Euro USD. It's that simple. The breakout is going to be to the downside. That's what it means. And then maybe gold, and then maybe Bitcoin if it follows it. We've established in the last few sessions that BTC do not seem to follow the uh, correlation rule. That correlation rule does not seem to follow it. Okay, so let's quickly check BTC. Okay, so So fair value closed. You can see all the way down. The fair value is closed. The fair value gap is closed, and then we're on our way to a new high. So if we judge by what we've